Hello, 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 Cancers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Medicine, and I will be your reader for this card reading. We are doing a tarot forecast, really, to understand what will be happening with you as it relates to the moon cycle happening between April 5th and May 4th of this year. So we're looking into um, how the moon will be influencing you during between the April 5th and May 4th of this year. So this is to really get a good insight of what's going to be happening with the moon, with this lunar cycle, and how it's going to affect you during this lunar period between April 5th and May 4th of this year. All right, and the first card we get, Cancer, is the King of Swords. Look, I'm going to have to do the best that I can with these. Let's see. We'll do the best we can. So we get the King of Swords, then we get the Five of Cups, and then we have the Four of Swords in reverse. And we get the Knight of Wands in reverse. We get the Ace of Swords in reverse. We get the Five of Wands in reverse. We get the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles, excuse me, and we get the Lovers, and then we get Death in reverse. Okay, so let me make some minor adjustments here, because I don't know if you can see these. We're just going to try to do the best we can here. We're going to do the best we can. Na, 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 na. Okay. So that's the best we can do. And I'll just go ahead and just, yeah, I think we're okay. Okay. So yes, what is happening for you during the lunar period, this lunar cycle? What is happening for you, Cancers, as it relates to the lunar cycle? So let's see here. Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. There are definitely going to be some influences in your life, like some people in your life. Um, the main influences in your life during this lunar period are going to be the King of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. They're going to be the main influences in your life. Now, the King of Swords, not too bad of an influence, although I would dare say that it might be very difficult for you to lay some things to rest, to detach from some things, and to put things to rest, and allow yourself to really embrace the new beginnings that are happening for you, that are secretly happening for you, that are happening for you below the surface, behind closed doors, within your soul. At this time, the King of Swords popping in, there's a lot of different things that might go into this. Number one, the King of Swords could be a person, someone who's highly intelligent, someone who probably is very concise, very intentional with their words. They say exactly what they need to say and exactly how they mean to say it. Their words are very mature. They're really good with communication. So they're not just great with talking, but they're also good with listening as well. maybe not so much as the Queen of Swords is good at listening, but still, they're very seasoned with communication and the art of communication, listening to what someone needs to say, as well as speaking what they need to say at the same time. Um, uh, and being able to relay correct information to other people based off of what was said. The King of Swords is really asking you to learn how to manage with your words, to manage things with your words. So some of you are going to be really authoritative. Your words, asking some for some of you, you know, your words are going to be very authoritative. Your words are going to be the way that you communicate is going to have power, and it's going to have heavy influence and great influence upon situations that are happening around you. I would go so far as to say that some of you might be experiencing a loss in your life right now. Some of you may be experiencing a loss right now because I've got the Five of Cups. Okay, so it might be a chance that you might have to speak, words as far as a loss is concerned. Um, that you might need to say some things to give yourself permission to let go of the things that have been lost from you. If it was a relationship that went sour, if it was the departure of a loved one from this earth, if it was a lost sentimental item. This is kind of what we look at with the Five of Cups. We look at things that have emotional value to us that was lost, that have become lost. And we look at that as per relationship. We look at that as per the death, of a family member or a loved one. We look at that as, sentimental things that have lost and so been lost. So, this King of Swords seems to be here to try to help you and support you in dealing with the loss in the best way possible. Okay, seems to kind of be here in support to help you. Either that, or for some of you, you might be that might be the separation for some of you, maybe, that you're going through a separation with someone in your life that you loved, who was very intelligent, who might have been very scientific, who might have been very powerful and authoritative with their words. So this could have been an older gentleman, or it could have been some sort of, an adult man, someone who's very seasoned, very smart, very brilliant, you know. But there's some losses happening there. It seems like it's very hard for you to speak about, if that makes sense, because the Four of Swords indicates detachment. It talks about having a wake, like a wake ceremony, and um, being able to address and say the things that need to be said to lost loved ones, and also putting to rest any thoughts, ideas, belief systems that were part of that. Like, it's basically about learning to say goodbye. It's basically giving yourself permission to put certain things to rest that need to be put to rest, and giving yourself permission to say goodbye. And just the fact that you've got the Five of Cups here, to me, there's definitely a departed soul, our loved one, our sentimental item, something to that effect. There's definitely some loss happening right now, and it seems to be that you might have a very hard time, like you're holding on to, and you're kind of like you're not able to you're not able to put this thing to rest and let it stay in the past. But then, I mean, funny enough, then it's like you're having mourning process. Um, you're definitely could be grieving, could be feeling a lot of sorrow, could be feeling a lot of lament at this time. But just in your mind, you don't seem to be able to uh, detach from it mentally and be able to put it to rest. So I got pointed towards the Five of Wands. And I so which basically make I want to be able to say that the fact that you haven't been able to put it to rest is kind of getting in the way of moving forward in your life, being able to uh, um, jump into. There's a lot of changes going on. There's a lot of challenges that are happening in your life right now. Competitions. There's a lot of struggles, scuffles. Is that the word that I'm looking for? Like brawls and scuffles and little fights and stuff like that. You know, um, Up and down. There's definitely a lot of conflict going on with the Five of Wands here, and it's definitely taking a turn for the worse. It's not being handled in the best way. All the fighting and the arguing and the it's not being handled in the best way. Um, you know, Also, there's a lot of distrust going on because the Five of Wands also speaks about, being able to trust in your instincts, being able to allow divine purpose to guide you. So there's a lot of distrust going on. Quite possibly, it's hard to believe that for some of you that there is divine purpose when something that you have been so near and dear to has been lost to you, is gone from you, is no longer there. It might bring a lot of doubt. It might bring a lot of shame because this Ace of Wands here um, talks about new ideas, but it also talks about obscurity and obstructive ideas. Like for some of you, either there are negative thoughts, there are like new negative thoughts being planted in your mind right now. New negative thoughts being planted in your mind, new negative beliefs, new negative ideas, um, um, that are not going to be going towards your growth. For some of you, it's going to be hard for you to see the horizon. It's going to be difficult for you to, um, you're having a difficult time being able to see past the pain and the guilt and the shame that's going on. It's like very difficult for you to be able to see past it. I'm guessing that too. That's why you got the Ace of Swords and the uh, Four of Swords both in reverse around the Five of Cups because this death, this loss is happening, and on either side, it's really hard for you to see the light past it. It's really hard for you to see, um, to let go and detach yourself from the past and to let go of what was, to let go of um, relationships. I don't know, goals, dreams, that things that have already, the window of opportunity for those things have already passed. It's time for you to now cleanse yourself, clear yourself, and allow yourself to let go and to move forward into a new cycle of your life. But there seems to be a lot of resistance with that, maybe because of a lot of negative self talk, maybe because a lot of negative thoughts coming in. For some of you, the way is just not clear for you. There's obscurity, there's obstructive, like, like the thoughts that are coming in, if there are any thoughts coming in, but you just cannot see your way. At this time, you can't see your way forward. With the Knight of Wands in reverse, really the second court card, um, there's this inability to be able to uh, be outwardly expressive about your enthusiasm, about zest for life. Um, uh, and there's definitely some misinformation going on there because the Knight of Wands uh, is doing like is he's got a lot of destructive habits. The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands has a lot of destructive habits and is taking a lot. And the actions that they are taking um, are having destructive consequences. We're looking at someone who might be abusive. We're looking at someone who might be um, uh, my way or the highway in a very destructive way, very rebellious, very angry, very mad, very upset, and they're not expressing that in a constructive way. They're being very destructive in their expression of it to their own detriment is what I'm trying to get to with that, and quite possibly to yours if you are not, that person, quite possibly to your own detriment. For some of you, if you were thinking about um if you were thinking about doing like faraway travel around this time during this lunar month, for some of you, you might want to rethink that. This might not be a great time for you to travel abroad with this card in reverse. So if you were thinking about traveling abroad, you might want to take a second look to see if that's a good idea, because the Knight of Wands, in reverse, not necessarily a great time for traveling abroad, um, for going someplace far away. Um, but the Knight of Wands has misinformed information here, misinformed information. And they are building on a lie. They're building on an illusion. They're building on obscurity. Their clarity, their ability to see, their viewpoint is very obstructed. They can't really see things clearly. Their mind is clouded. They cannot see things clearly. And then it's like because of that, they are not able to uh, they're not able to do and to be and to move the way that they need to in order to make it through the difficulties and the hard times. With the Five of Wands in reverse, um, they're not really able to step into the fray, be willing to fight for their aspirations, what it is that they dream of, what it is that they believe in, because quite frankly, they can't see it. They're obstructed right now. So your vision is very obstructed, and it might not be the best time for you to travel abroad. Um, there might be have been some disagreements going on between whoever was the King of Swords to you and whoever might be the Knight of Swords to you. So whoever might be the highly intelligent male adult figure in your life versus the person who might be like a very youthful, fiery, enthusiastic energy, and expressing that in a very negative way. I just keep like doing this, and then I'm like this. So it's like now it's bringing me over here over towards the death card. So I just keep getting this feeling that like this person here, they might not be they might have this might be the person that for some of you have lost, you know. This might be the person that for some of you are dealing with losses, because I mean it ends up with the death card. It begins with the King of Swords and then it ends up with the death card here. So some way there's been some deceiving. Definitely there's some deceit going on. You know, definitely there's been some negative talk going on, but the King of Swords, and then we have the death card over here to the side. So there's some definite uh, changes and transitions going on that are divinely ordered at this time. Um, The Queen of Pentacles, she also seems to be having some conflict. This Queen of Pentacles here could be someone who's very controlling. She could be someone who's very, she can be someone who's very doubtful and very fearful. She could be someone who's extremely traditional and conservative and is very stubborn, and anything that does not fit within the tradition, the paradigm of her tradition, like, is not, you know, there's no room for her when it comes to change and when it comes to being different. So, like, she's very oppressive. She's very tell you what to do, and she will hold you down. And she's also, for some of you, she may be this person that is full of doubt and is full of fear and is full of negativity, because she's just holding on to so many negative, she's holding on to a lot of negative weight, if you will. She's holding on to a lot of burdens, responsibilities. Um, uh, she's make sacrifices that are not. She doesn't need to hold on to them, but she's holding on to them anyway. So this person is like being like a sacrificial lamb constantly, all the time. Anytime she's letting people roll over her, you know, anytime someone gets in trouble, she's always right there to save them, to rescue them from their own troubles, from having to pay the consequences for their troubles, from the wrongdoings that they did. With the Ace of Swords here with the Queen of Pentacles, someone may be told a lie, and here she is rescuing them from their own troubles, and being captain and being I don't want to say that whole word like that, but yeah, pretty much like, being their rescue, when um instead of allowing them to suffer the consequences for their own actions. When I was figuring out the Queen of Pentacles energy, she wanted to direct me up this way, like that. So, um, I wanna say that I want to say that she's part of the reason why it's so hard for you to let go of things from the past. This person, quite frankly, might be making it very difficult for you to be able to let go of things from the past, and allow you to put the identity I connected to who you were to rest. She might be holding on to burdens and doubts and fears, and she might be plaguing that onto you. Making you um, she might be making it very difficult for you to move on. With all three of the court cards here, I would say that everyone knew this King of Swords person. Like, these two main people obviously have some sort of connection with the King of Swords, because they're all on the same side and they're all connected together. I'd say that these two people, and no one's really taking things in a good way, in a way that is healthy, in a way that is positive. I feel, Cancer, like you might have been trying to do something positive. You might have been trying to take it in a positive way, but you're being surrounded by so much negativity that it's just very difficult and very hard for you to actually let it detach and allow yourself to move on. But you get life. Life begins to happen. This person may not necessarily like this situation. This person may not necessarily like this situation either. But life, it seems to be happening. Like, there's a marriage going on. It might hurt. It might suck, because it's like this person was supposed to be involved in this, and instead the two people who are involved are two people that are not very supportive to, if you're getting married. So first of all, congratulations to any of you who are getting married. And if you're not getting married, this card has to really do with matrimony as it pertains to the masculine and feminine within the self, because we all have a masculine and feminine side within us. So this card really pertains to connecting the two, recombining them. So if you are getting married, congratulations. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. And if you are, listen to how I said that, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. But seriously, though, I am excited for you and congratulations. And to those of you who are not getting married, at the very least, you have a good relationship with somebody going on. At the very least, you have a good relationship with someone going on in your life. It's like you found your alter ego, you found the yin to your yang, like you found your other side, you found your other half. Like this is a very positive card. And it might be that these two don't necessarily approve of this union, but it is a positive one, just in case you might be wondering. This is a good union. And for those of you who are not in a relationship, or may not be experiencing this, then okay, if it has to do with the self, I would definitely say that the lovers is looking after the connection between the divine masculine and divine feminine principle within you, at the very least. So whether you are single, whether you are seeing someone, or whether you're getting married, this can fit for you one way or the other. Um, but then that brings a lot of changes that go on in your life. So it seems like there's going to be some good changes that happen for you. Kind of looking at that, I'm like, all of this right here is a whole heck of a whole lot of drama. A lot of challenges, a lot of negativity, a lot of drama, perhaps. Um, uh, and then it's like I get towards the end of it, and it's like, then there's the light at the end of the road. Good things start to happen for you. um, uh, however, this is kind of one of the redeeming qualities of everything that's going on this side of the tracks with these seven cards. This is the redeeming. The redeemer is that Five of Cups. It's like in your heart, you found a way to really come to peace, come to terms, and to really move on with your life, um, even though it is definitely a loss, and it is definitely painful and harmful, but hurtful. But you are handling it in such a positive way with the Five of Cups in upright position. You're handling it in a good way. You might be feeling a lot of pain right now. You might be feeling a lot of grief and sorrow, but you're handling it in a good way. You're dealing with the feelings. You're allowing yourself to express your emotions. You're taking time for yourself, to grieve and to mourn your losses. You're handling it in a good way. You're giving yourself permission to do that, even though there's all of this kerfuffle going on in the inner rim of all of that. Because it seems like you just had a special relationship. I would say that, like, this is all kind of like cornering this, which is for me is like uh, they don't necessarily know the kind of relationship that you have with this person. You had a very special relationship with this person, and um, to have to lose them can be very difficult, can be very hard. You know what I mean? Um, and they may never know the kind of relationship that you have with this person, Cancer. They may never know the kind of relationship that you have with this person. They may never know how special it was. They may never know, like these people here, they may never know how important it was, what it meant to you. And it may not be for them to know. And it might be okay that they don't know, you know. um, but uh, but you're very well aware, and it definitely, you're giving yourself permission to allow them to cross over, and giving yourself permission to allow you to cross over. And because you're moving on, and this person right here seems to be staying with you throughout this entire process, because then you come up at the end with the Lovers and the Death card, which means, like, you know then it's like, okay, some of you are getting married, some life is happening, some reconnection is happening. There's like some transformation going on, if you will. Like you traded one good relationship with someone for another very valuable, very significant, very loving relationship, and then it's going to allow you to move on with your life. Like some really good changes are happening for you towards the end of all of this. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel for you. Things kind of start off hard and painful, but you handle them in a good way. And then it's like all this kerfuffle ends up happening. And then it's like, okay, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is some good happening here for you. So just hold on, Cancer, because things are going to get better. Things are going to be okay. Maybe not everyone in your life is going to be very understanding of that. And maybe there might be some conflict that's going on. Maybe it might not necessarily, it might be keeping you away from seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and how things are going to transform, from a time of sadness to a time of happiness, you know, and to create some really good changes for you. A time of rebirth, is going to be happening for you at the end. There's going to be a time for rebirth. So just hold on, Cancer. Everything is going to be okay. All right. Let's see what the Oracle card has to say for you. Contemplation popped right out at me. Contemplation. I love these cards, period. This is definitely, I love this card. Um, to contemplate, to, to think, to reflect, to seriously consider something, to focus on it, to really sit down and seriously think about and consider something with yourself. Not necessarily something that you need to be sharing with other people right now, but to just really sit with yourself and consider the options, consider things. Because the contemplation card is like moving in a direction too. Because this spirit, she's over here looking up at the clouds, and she's looking up at the rivers. She's looking up at the waters, the streams inside the clouds. And she's wondering, is that something that I want to be a part of? Is that something that I want to do? Is that something that feels right, that feels good to me? But what about this? But what about that? So there's kind of like some things to consider. Enjoy your own company. This is a wonderful time for you to reorganize and consider the things you enjoy most in your life. Make a point of spending a little time allowing your mind to wander away from the everyday concerns that occupy your time. Give yourself an opportunity to be inspired. Ruminate on your inner voice and listen to your own counsel. Mm. Trust that voice within, that choice, that voice within. Um, uh, Let it guide you like it's your best friend. Kind of have a little counsel time with yourself. Um, just really take some time to just be with you right now, Cancer. That's the most important thing. You've got a lot going on in life, of course. There's always a lot going on. But there's lots for you to consider and for you to think about at this time. Makes a lot of sense to me too, because you've got the negative forces happening here, which are bringing in new negative thoughts and negative ideas. Um, you just got some thinking to do with that Ace of Swords. You know, so take some time for yourself throughout this lunar month. Make sure you're taking some time for you to sit and think and consider the possibilities. And, everything is going to work out one way or the other. That much is definite in my mind because you've got the lovers and you've got the death card happening here at the end. So death means life. It means change. It means transition. It means transformation. It means rebirth. And there's some definite changes going on in your life. And and I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited for you. Oh my goodness, my leg right now. All right, I love you very much, Cancers, and I hope that this has helped you and assisted you through your lunar process this coming up month, and be well. I'll see you next cycle. I hope.